The bell above the door chimed merrily as Ethan pushed it open, stepping into a large, well-lit room filled with all sorts of luggage. Suitcases, duffel bags, backpacks, you name it. There had to be hundreds of them stacked on shelves that reached all the way to the ceiling. He turned to the old man behind the counter who was slowly stirring a concoction in a glass jar. Excuse me, Ethan said, but the man didn't seem to acknowledge his presence. Hello, Ethan said a bit louder, still nothing. The old man was too engrossed in whatever he was doing. So Ethan walked up to one of the shelves and picked out a random backpack, slung it over his shoulder, and headed for the door. Wait, where do you think you're going? The old man finally looked up, his eyes wide with surprise. I don't know, Ethan said, holding up his hands in defense. I just thought this was some sort of store where you could buy bags, like a mall or something. The old man let out a sharp bark of laughter. You silly goose, he said, shaking his head. This is no ordinary store. Each of these bags is connected to a specific moment in time, a specific place in history. Do you not feel it? The energy in here. Do you not sense the power? Ethan shrugged, suddenly feeling a bit uneasy. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize. He took the backpack off and placed it back on the shelf. So, what do you mean by connected to a specific moment in time? Each bag is a time portal, the old man said, his voice hushed, a one-way ticket to the past. Once you step through, there's no coming back. You can only go forward. The moment you activate a bag, it disappears from this plane of existence, leaving you stranded in your chosen era. Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. Wow, he whispered, realizing that the backpack he had picked up was emitting a faint red glow. He must have activated it when he put it on. How? How far back am I? He asked, looking at the old man in panic. The old man peered into the backpack, his face etched with concern. You've traveled 100 years into the past, my boy, he said, his voice grave. You're in the year 1923. Before Ethan could respond, the backpack suddenly glowed brightly, enveloping him in a warm light, and the next thing he knew, he was lying on the cold, hard ground. Coughing, he pushed himself up and quickly looked around. He was in a dark alley, the air thick with the smell of stale waste and decay. People in old-fashioned clothes hurried past him, their faces illuminated by the flickering gas lights. Ethan realized with a jolt that he was truly in 1923. He stood up, brushing off his clothes, and decided to find somewhere safe to hide during the day. As he walked through the bustling city, he couldn't help but notice the strange looks people were giving him. They probably thought he was some kind of tramp, he thought, adjusting his backpack. He found a small, secluded park and settled down on a nearby bench, intending to wait until nightfall to make his move. As the hours passed, he noticed a group of young boys playing a game near the pond. A smile tugged at his lips. Their laughter echoed through the park, reminding him of simpler times. But his reverie was soon shattered by a piercing scream. The boys had gathered around the pond, their faces pale with fear, pointing to something in the water. Ethan followed their gazes and saw the lifeless form of a young woman floating on the surface. Her long, flowing hair was the only thing that betrayed her identity. Suddenly, a tall, imposing figure emerged from the crowd, his face contorted with rage. Who did this? He thundered, his eyes blazing with fury. Who killed her? The boys shook their heads, their faces crumpled with fear and sadness. It was clear that they had nothing to do with the tragedy. As the crowd grew, Ethan felt a growing sense of unease. This was no ordinary death. He could feel it in his bones. The woman in the water was more than just a victim. She was connected to the very fabric of time, a guardian of sorts. And her death had unleashed a darkness that threatened to consume everything. His gaze fell on the backpack, its red glow intensifying with each passing moment. He knew what he had to do, taking a deep breath. He plunged his hand into the bag and pulled out a silver locket that emitted a blinding white light. The crowd gasped as the light enveloped them, transporting them to a different time and place. As Ethan stood amidst the swirling vortex, he noticed a lone backpack on the shelf, chained shut with a red glow emanating from its edges, the one no one dared to open.